So this demo video is for stuffed chicken breasts. Now the first thing that we're going to do on day one is we're going to be making a brine. Now for your brine, you're going to be actually doing this as a table, so we only have so many pitchers in the refrigerator. So in this I've got 6 cups of water. I'm going to add to it some salt, and this is 1/4 cup of salt. I'm also going to add 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And then I'm just going to drop in my 2 chicken breasts. Now again, if you have 2 groups at your table, this will then be 4 chicken breasts. This is going to get topped off with a lid and stored in the refrigerator until tomorrow. Alright, so we went ahead and did our brine and set that aside. The other thing that we need to do on day one is go ahead and toast our pine nuts. Now you can see that these have already started to turn a nice golden brown color, and that's what we're looking for. I'm going to set these aside and we will save those.
What are you making, Cassie?
That's it. So we've done our brine, we've toasted our pine nuts. Our third thing that we need to do today is go ahead and saute a little bit of our spinach. So I'm going to put a splash of oil in here. I'm going to be adding in 1 garlic clove that I went ahead and minced up. And then the last thing is my 3 cups of fresh spinach. And we're going to cook this until that spinach is nice and wilty. You can see these leaves in the middle are starting to get nice and wilty, but we do still have some that are a little bit stiff, so I'm going to let this cook a little bit longer. And then we will set it aside and save it for tomorrow. Thanks, so I've got in my food processor my pine nuts. Now the reason why we're using a food processor is because it's really just going to blend it all together really, really well. Nice and fast and easy. We do only have a few food processors in each class, so please make sure you're using quickly and then sharing with the other groups. To my pine nuts, I'm also going to add in my bread. I'm going to make sure my blade is all the way snug down to the bottom. And then when you put the lid on this food processor, it has to be locked in place or it's not going to work. So you'll hear it click, and then we're ready to pull it. If we look inside, we see that it's all nice and ground up, and that's exactly what we like to see. Tap off your blade, and then I'm going to add this to my bowl here. Now, this right now, what we're making is the stuffing for our chicken breasts. So we have now in here our bread and our pine nut mixture. I'm also going to add in 3 different types of cheese. So the first cheese is a shredded Fontina cheese. We've also got some shredded Parmesan cheese. And the last cheese is a ricotta cheese, which is a little bit of a creamier cheese. Sure, get all that cheesy goodness in there. We've got 2 different spices that we're adding in. Black pepper and nutmeg. And the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze in about 1.5 teaspoons of some fresh lemon juice. And we want to save these lemon wedges because they're actually going to go inside our chicken breast. And then the last thing that we're going to add is our sauteed spinach and garlic with that little bit of oil in here. Give this a nice stir, and this is going to be the stuffing for our chicken breasts. When I store this today, I'm going to have 3 baggies. My first baggie is going to have my stuffing. My second baggie is going to have the lemon juices that I used for that lemon juice to get out of them, or my lemon wedges. And then my third one is my brine with my chicken breast in it.
Hi everyone, we're back and you're probably wondering what happened to Miss Lucard. Well, we're tag teaming today, so I'm going to take the video from her here on. So, you've already brined your chicken breast and you have your stuffing is already made. Whoops, that's over here. So here's your stuffing and you have your lemon wedges. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is cut a pocket. So this is probably the world's thinnest chicken breast. Your teacher might get you full chicken breast, which will be double the thickness, and it will be much easier to cut a pocket. But I am going to show you how to cut a pocket in this. This is half of a chicken breast, really. They're normally double. And then they butterfly them and cut them in half. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is find the thickest part, which is right here. Okay, so, you're going to get a small knife and you're going to press down on it like this. This helps give you control over the chicken breast. And you're going to very, very slowly slide the knife in. I'm not cutting at all. I'm just trying to get the knife into the chicken breast. The tip of the knife is right here. Okay, so we're just going to cut a pocket in this section of the chicken breast, the thickest part. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of swing the knife this way, going very slowly and keeping the knife parallel to the cutting board. Okay, then we're going to take it out and you're going to flip it over. Slide it back in there. Okay, and now I'm going to swing the knife this way, being very careful not to cut through the chicken breast. Okay, so now if we pick this up, the opening's actually a little too small because we have to fit this lemon wedge in there, and I'm actually going to cut this down because it's too big for it would take up the whole side of the chicken breast. But I can barely get my finger in there, but I want to show you that there's a pocket. Okay, so if you see, there's a pocket there and it's inside the chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down so it has a chance of fitting in there, and I'm actually going to cut it down just a little bit more. Now, if your teacher gets you a full-size chicken breast, you could put the pocket over here and use that whole lemon wedge. So you have to kind of use a little bit of common sense there, because this, if you see, this is paper thin. There's no way to make a pocket there. So I just found the fat part of the chicken breast, and we'll make the lemon wedge go in there. Okay, so now you're going to take some of your stuffing. Now you notice that I'm wearing gloves. You do not have to wear gloves. A lot of kids get totally freaked out with raw meat, so they wear gloves. As you know, gloves are only used for one task, and right now it's working on the chicken. So I kind of made this into a tube, and I'm going to put it in here and stuff my chicken breast. Okay. So you just have to keep working it until you get it all in there. And you do want the pocket bulging. Now again, it's all going to kind of depend on the size of the chicken breast that your teacher gets you. These are tiny little 4-ounce chicken breasts. Your teacher could get you 6-ounce, which you'll have a little bit more room to play with. Or they may get you a full chicken breast that hasn't been butterflied and cut in half. Okay, so you can see now how nice and thick that is. I'm going to take my lemon wedge. The purpose of the lemon wedge is to block this hole, okay, so that your stuffing can't ooze out during baking. So sometimes you have to be a little creative how you get it in there. There we go, it just popped in. You have to be bigger than the lemon. You're stronger than the lemon. So what's going to happen as we cook this is that cheese is going to get hot and it's going to become like a pressure cooker, like Boyle's Law from you science people. So it's going to force the lemon to pop. And I don't want it. I want to force the lemon to stay. So what I like to do is I take a piece of cooking twine And I'm going to tie it around here to force the lemon to stay in the chicken breast. Okay. All right, so that'll force that up there. Now our directions tell us, I'm going to take off one of these gloves. We're going to heat up some oil, a small amount of oil. Okay. I don't want to touch the bottle with my contaminated hand, all that raw chicken. And that was a lot of oil. So I'm actually going to pour some of that out. Okay. And we're going to heat up this oil until it's hot. And the purpose of this is we need to sear this chicken breast. We want to just cook the outer layer of the muscle so that it seals in all the juices. So while that's heating up, I mixed some salt and pepper in here. And I'm going to salt and pepper both sides of my chicken breast. That was a lot there, so I'll just pick that up, rub it in. Okay. All right. I have a towel over here. Now I don't want to use that towel to clean any of my dishes or table because I'm kind of using it to get the raw chicken off my hands. You'll know your oil's ready when it starts to shimmer. All right. And the oil's getting super thin. All right, so we're going to take the chicken breast. You're going to lay it in. You can hear it's already sizzling, so it's nice and hot. And we're going to let one side get lightly brown. Then we're going to flip it and let the other side get lightly brown. We're not trying to cook the whole chicken, just the outer skin. So we'll be back in just a minute. We're back, and if you take a look at the chicken breast, we've got a lightly brown side and a lightly brown side. So I'm going to turn off the heat. And if you noticed, I've already cleaned up my cutting board and such. You want to clean as you go. And so trying to clean while stuff is cooking will help you get out of class on time and make everybody happy. So what I want you to see here, you can see the chicken breast is still raw. We were not trying to cook all the way through the chicken breast. We just want to seal in the juices by searing both sides. So what we're going to go do now is you're going to put this on a rack. And we lined it with paper, okay? And we lined it with paper so it's easier to clean up. And the rack allows any grease to drip through, and it also allows the heat to circulate around the chicken breast. This is going to go in a very hot oven between 400 and 425. Now normally for a thick pork chop it would be there about 20 minutes. This is going to cook much faster because it's much thinner. So I'm going to check this in about 8 minutes. So we'll be back when it's ready to take out of the oven. Okay, we are back and this is baked. So you can see it's still a nice golden brown on each side. So to serve this, you could use tongs. I have a glove on. You're going to take this off, and actually you can do it before. You want to pull this string off, all right? Your guest or whoever you're serving can pull the lemon out when they are ready to eat, and enjoy.